Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Growth Capital Podcast. I am your host, Justin Dixon, and today we've got Tom Howell on the podcast. He is the founder and CEO of FancyAI. He is based in Austin, Texas, and he has built a business around generative engine optimization. So think of new school SEO versus what's going on in kind of the zero-click search world and all that. It's a very fascinating episode, especially for any small business owner that is spending a lot of time and money on SEO. He talks about how his platform helps them create a generative search engine optimization content that is searchable, digestible, and visible to all of the LLMs out there, and so that they get ranked and recommended in any of the AI generative answers. So really cool episode. I think we'll get a lot out of it. So let's get Tom on the pod. Interested in hearing conversations with private equity leaders, CEOs of private equity-backed companies, and startup entrepreneurs where they share their stories about their career journeys, starting, investing in, and scaling successful businesses, and the important role that having the right talent plays in building a successful business, then you are in the right place. Welcome back to another episode of the Growth Capital Podcast. Here's your host, Justin Dixon. All right, Tom, welcome to the podcast. Good to see you.
Hey, great to see you, Justin. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, let's jump right in. Maybe you can give us a little bit of an overview of who you are, where you are, and what you're up to right now.
Yeah, so I'm Tom Howell. I'm currently based out of Austin, Texas, and I'm the CEO of FancyAI. You can find us online at getfancy.ai. It's an exciting business. We are in the generative engine optimization space, so we help businesses become the answer or get recommended by the AI engines. So it's kind of the modern day SEO, but it's a lot more interesting and more dynamic. And so I've been working on this for about 2 years now, and that's
Got it. So tell me a little bit more about that, because I've heard the zero-click search, stuff that is kind of ruining a lot of companies' marketing plans because they, typically you spend more money, you get more eyeballs and all that fun stuff. And now people are just searching for answers in ChatGPT or Claude or whatever the AI of choice is. So how does it work? Why is it such a big issue? Let's talk about some of the nuts and bolts.
Yeah. So what a lot of companies are experiencing right now, I think that's a good place to start, is established companies have spent a lot of dollars over the years creating tons and tons of content. Mm-hmm. And that was the old search engine optimization game, is you create content both on your website and off your website and get a bunch of other sites to link back to you. And, that generally would reward you with good placement. And so you'd write all these blogs, and these blogs would have specific information about all sorts of different topics that were related to your business. But up pop the AI engines, and those Google answers that are AI answers that are at the top of every search now, those pretty much take all of that blog content that, companies spend all that time and energy creating, and it aggregates them into an answer that maybe cites you or maybe doesn't. But all of those clicks that used to be Google clicks are now turned into AI answers that a lot of times yield no clicks. And so the Gemini LLM has essentially stolen all that traffic and eyeballs from your website. So what people have experienced is their organic traffic and just the traffic that finds them naturally just continues to decline to their site. And so as that's been happening, we've seen an emergence clearly of using those AI engines, whether it's Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude or what have you. And so as those AI engines, as those AI answers have emerged more and more, so is the desire to participate in that and be one of those answers. And so our platform essentially provides you with the strategy and the execution layer in order to actually get found by the AI engines and get indexed and ultimately win that business. Right now, it's starting to emerge as in the business mindset as something that they're going to need to pay attention to or they need to start doing now. But in a year from now, it's going to be absolutely essential. And the businesses that have jumped at this now are going to reap huge rewards. And the ones that wait, they're putting their whole business potentially in jeopardy.
And so is it just a pay to play model? Like, how does it work? So if I'm a small business, how do I compete to be the answer versus, my largest competitor that has maybe a 10, 20x budget than I do? Like, is it a pay to play model?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's not, I wouldn't call it pay to play. It's organic the way Google search was organic. If you think about Google search outside of the Google Ads engine, all of the organic listings that are below the paid ads, those are rewarded based on content and relevancy to a topic and are ultimately free. Mm-hmm. And the same thing exists here in the AI engines. If you do a really good job of making the AI engines understand who you are and the products and service you offer, you also can win those placements and not directly pay for them. Now, obviously, there's work involved and those things cost money. But I would consider this like probably the biggest real estate grab that we've seen, since the start of Google. And those placements are worth a huge amount of money. And the cost to win those placements is relatively low versus the future ROI there.
Yeah. And so what are some of the nuts and bolts things that if somebody's listening to this and they, have spent a lot of money and time and effort on SEO, because SEO is, and I'm not a marketer, so you can probably explain it better, but it's not a quick fix. Like it's a build over time type of scenario. And so is this something that you can turn on, meaning like you kind of work with somebody like yourself and it just kind of clicks? Or is this similar to SEO? You still have to put out a lot of content, but have that content be created in a way that is AI readable, because that's maybe your audience versus what it used to be, which is very keyword friendly and link backs and all that fun.
Okay. So yeah, it's a good question. When you think about like what goes into it, there's two areas here. There's we like to think about it in terms of eligibility and visibility. And what eligibility is my site, is our current content even set up in a way or structured in a way where, or have the right information there where the large language models can actually see the information, interpret it, and understand that you belong in those answers. So that's kind of like step one, is figuring out how to make you more eligible. And then once you kind of conquer the eligibility side of this, then you can move on to visibility, is when you actually start to surface. So what goes into eligibility is your content structured and your website structured in a way that makes it easy for the LLMs to ingest your information? You hear people talk about things like the LLM TXT file, the schema markup, and then the content itself is the way you structure content for the LLMs is very different than what you used to do for SEO. The LLMs, they don't like a trust me bro approach to writing. They want something that's more specific. They want to see, if you're going to make claims, they want to see that those claims are backed up and verifiable and include data. They want to make sure that if you're in regulated industries, that the claims that you're making are legal and supported. So there's a lot that goes into structuring that content. And then kind of the fourth pillar is like this technical health piece. And that goes back to what was common in SEO, is like, how quick does your site load? Are there any crawler blockers that are on the site currently? Sites that are managed and use a CDN like a Cloudflare can oftentimes have settings where their content is blocked for the LLM. So you may not even know it, but you're not showing because you just have some blockers on the crawlers in place. So that's kind of the first side of the coin of becoming eligible. And then, as you create that content, fix the site, and you'll start to see some visibility. But then visibility really comes from getting your message out there and making sure that you have third parties that are also talking about you. So the number one source that everybody talks about now is Reddit. And it's because Reddit has done such a great job of blocking promotional or marketing copy from their answers. And their answers are real, as close to like real, true human interactions, I think, as anything online.
Okay.
with the best information. Then there's, media sites that the LLMs see as authoritative, things like Wikipedia, even, your placements on YouTube and LinkedIn and other public sites that can be crawled. All of that goes into being more visible. And so it's a mix of kind of leveraging all of those pieces to build the right structure to surface for the queries that are important to you.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little about the business. So how did you come up with FancyAI? Like, were you in the marketing SEO space earlier in your career and realize, hey, this is, more generative AI kind of GEO is going to be the next big thing? Like, how did the business start? How did you kind of think about it? Let's kind of talk about the origin story, if you will.
Yeah, so I ran an agency for over a decade called Fancy Awesome.
Okay.
As you can see, I like the fancy name.
Yeah.
And Fancy Awesome specialized in search marketing, both from a paid and organic perspective. We found that there was just so much waste in the SEO business. And we really dove into the SEO business and wanted to provide a solution that was much more automated and provided a really, really great value for businesses at a reasonable cost. Because so many businesses have spent money on SEO and just gotten poor results. And it's one of those areas of marketing that's kind of left a bad taste in a lot of businesses' mouth. Mm. And so we built a automated SEO platform, and it was just bad timing. We launched it, and then within 3 months, the LLMs kind of emerged, and we realized that the opportunity was going to shift very quickly.
Yeah.
So we, at that moment, we started to do our research and figure out, what were the drivers within the LLMs that really made them cite certain businesses and certain content over other content. And we built this really big data set where we were able to see, we picked the top 100 industries and then picked the top 10 businesses within each of those industries, and then looked at the relevant queries that were going to either be transactional or result in a lead that businesses would want to show up for. And then we saw who at the beginning of this whole, new world had won those positions just naturally. It was a combination between luck and doing great SEO work to win those spots. And so that gave us the foundation for what actually worked to influence the engine. And then from there, we built a system that allowed us to really quickly analyze a site and then provide recommendations for what to do in order to win placements. And then from there, we started to build the automation layer and the execution layer to be able to do some of those things for customers or make it easy for them to do it. And then that kind of all stitched together into an MVP about 4 months ago. And so we launched that February 1. I'd say, we were a little late to market in terms of, the platforms that have emerged, and every SEO agency is now calling themselves a GEO or AEO agency.
Got it.
But we really wanted to make sure that we had a solid product that was backed by data and that could provide, real results.
Yeah. And so are you targeting as a client very, very large companies, very, very small? Like, who's your kind of ICP that's kind of the ideal target for you?
So we've started off entering into the SMB market.
Okay.
We have a lot of experience, both as an agency and just in our professional lives of servicing that area. A lot of the big, very heavily venture-backed platforms that are in this space went after the enterprise. And we wanted to provide, small and mid-sized businesses a really great avenue to do this at a reasonable price. So, if I were to define our ICP, we work with a lot of e-commerce customers, home service businesses, legal, medical, those local businesses that just live or die by getting leads.
Yeah.
And then your kind of national footprint businesses that have regional locations.
Got it. So, okay, that makes sense because a lot of like home services businesses, they pay to be on Angie's List, right? And they've got ads there. And so that's kind of their lead gen or whatever the, Thumbtack or any of these other platforms. So are you saying that this is an addition to or a replacement of some of the spend that they are using on those traditional kind of lead gen engines if you're talking to like a home services type business?
Yeah, I think this is really going to become, right now, it's definitely an addition, but I see it as a replacement soon for those types of services like Angie's List you're talking about. And it's because these AI engines we're just scratching the surface of how people are going to leverage them.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's essential to get your business indexed in them, or it's important, I should say. And it's going to be essential in the future because where we're going is this like agent to agent world and home services and those types of businesses are perfect for it. Any of your businesses rely on lead generation or phone calls to operate. Let's say you're a plumber, and the current state is somebody finds you, whether it's through AI search or Google or Meta or one of these service sites you talked about, like Angie's List. And then they contact you, or they go to their website, they fill out a form, they make a phone call, and then you talk to the prospect, you book an appointment to show up, and then you sell the deal. Well, in the future agent to agent world, my phone has an agent in it. I'm going to say, hey, I need the best plumber in the area, the highest rated plumber that specializes in fixing leaks, and I need somebody to come over right now. Who's the best rated in my area? And then the agent in my phone will then go through and use the LLM to figure out who is recommended. And then on the business's side, you'll communicate with the agent on the business's side through the LLMs. And then the two agents will negotiate with each other and identify the right one, pick it, book it. And in that situation, like there is no website involved. There is no phone call or lead that was filled out. It's like you either were there to be captured by and found by that agent or you weren't. And so what we want to do here is plan for that future state for businesses and make sure that they understand that that's where the world is going, and show them that like just because you have a functioning business with great lead sources now doesn't mean that that's going to exist forever.
Yeah.
And these AI engines are critical for providing those connections to customers in the future. And it's just, you're either going to be there or you're not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because a buddy of mine who owns a small HVAC contracting business, is he going to have to essentially mortgage his house to pay for enough influence or AI generated content or AI readable content to compete with the world of private equity who is jumping into the home services business and they're gobbling up all these small businesses? Like, I'm just kind of trying to think about who these small guys are that are out there that are, they're grinding away. They've got a good business. They're getting a lot of leads from what they spend on Angie's List and all the other sources. How are they going to compete with private equity who is coming in to really gobble up a lot of these home services type businesses? Like, can working with somebody like you help them baby step into that world? Because, they're focused on fixing pipes, not building an agent.
Yeah, totally. Well, the good thing about working with a company like ours is we're in a situation where doing the right type of work to your site and to your business that trains the AI engines on who you are and on the services that you provide, if you do that better than the big dogs, you can compete even if you don't have as deep of pockets. This isn't Google AdWords where it's like the top bidder wins.
Right.
This is just structuring your business appropriately online to be found and to answer the right questions. So, we have customers, and obviously the how competitive the market is drives the investment necessary. But a platform like ours starts at $500 a month and gives you pretty much everything you need in order to win those positions. And then if you need help with that, we offer a managed service layer where we can run the platform for you if you don't have the resources or the time to do it yourself. And then the real variable piece here is, if you're up against some larger companies and it's a really competitive space, getting some media placements and Reddit posts and these types of citations about your business are kind of the outside of the website are going to be the real differentiating factor. And the good news is most of those companies haven't done the work yet. So it doesn't take a whole lot to really start to surface in those answers that matter to you.
Yeah. How far away are we, do you think, for, an agent to agent actually becoming not just fringe, but and maybe not mainstream, but kind of almost normal, where your example is kind of interesting, where you say, I need a plumber who can come over right now. I live at this address, or where I live because you know my home address or whatever. And then you just hit a button, and then the agent that you have on your phone or whatever goes out and talks to another agent. I've not heard of anybody actually executing on that yet, but I could be just not aware. But where are we, and how long does it take to get to, a lot of people doing that? Maybe not everybody, but a lot.
Yeah, I've seen Google do some tests for it already. But I think we're a year to two away from that. I think we're going to start seeing it in a year. The protocols are being built by a number of companies right now that build the connections between one system and another. And so I think it's sooner than people think.
Yeah. And then I guess we're recording this early July 2026. A lot has changed in the last 12 months from an AI perspective. I'm using it way more now than I ever have before. I'm leveraging Claude Cowork, and, I'm building things, and I'm not a technical person by any means. So where do you see, from just a general AI landscape perspective, where do you see the next, call it 12 months going? If we jumped on a podcast a year from now, where do you see your business? And then where do you see the general AI world? Where does it evolve to?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think businesses are going to gradually adapt it more and more. It seems to be more of an additive versus a replacement to employees at this point.
Yep.
I think ultimately, certain jobs will absolutely be threatened, but it's going to create a lot of opportunity too. So I think there's a lot of unknowns here, but one thing I know for sure is that the adoption is happening faster than I think anything I've ever seen in my career. And I think that as more people use it on a day-to-day basis and more comfort that they have, the more that they're going to adapt it in all parts of their life, including their business.
Yeah.
And so it's just, for businesses, it's really critical to also adapt here. And the businesses that do and leverage this tech more are the ones that are going to win in the next decade. And the ones that don't, they're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
That's where we see it going.
I live in Silicon Valley now, and you live in Austin. So, pretty tech savvy environments. And I think adoption has become, maybe just from what I'm seeing locally, obviously a little bit more robust than middle America. And so you obviously work with small businesses, and I'm curious kind of what the level of adoption just in AI in general of the companies that you're working with that are in that kind of home services world, that are, their technology is more focused on hammers and nails and screwdrivers and things like that versus agents and things. Do you see adoption starting to tick up in those more blue collar type businesses?
Sure. I see more and more people using them for bidding on jobs, or creating really well-structured and beautiful proposals and reports or job reviews or whatever you'd call them. It's just becoming a lot easier to make things look great and read well.
Yeah.
And it's really elevating the service quality. And if you mentioned before, a lot of these companies are private equity backed. And you're right. And one of the things that private equity does when they buy one of these companies is they go in and they streamline the operations across the whole business. And one of those things that they streamline is they organize the sales playbook, they organize the product and the structure, and they make everything look great, right? All the materials look great. Well, that's now, you don't have to have a private equity company that's spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing or millions of dollars on marketing across their portfolio of companies over the last several years to figure out, the right way to do the business. All you got to do is ask Claude, and it's going to spit out essentially a best in class version of whatever it is you're trying to produce. So I'm seeing companies use more of those things. I think that there's going to be an emergence. It's so quick to create software products now that there's an emergence of tools that are coming out for these types of businesses. I've seen some software that recently that was like some really awesome AI enabled text and chat automation tools that allowed people to kind of like talk to prospects easier or find prospects easier and communicate with their existing customers as well. The CRMs are adding in a lot of AI that's making it easier to use and help identify prospects that were lost, that could still be good opportunities, or what have you. So I think what's happening here is business owners, as they start using these things and then have a positive experience, they just don't go back.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, here, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to ask more about kind of how are you leveraging it now that you've got this new business, an AI business. So how are you kind of leveraging it as the founder to kind of make your life easier than maybe when you had your more traditional marketing agency?
Yeah. I don't think I've made my life easier for sure. One of the things that I wasn't prepared for as a founder here is how quickly the AI world was going to move.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot easier to build software now. It's a lot faster. So in order for us to stay ahead of the competition, we have to move extremely quickly. Whereas companies used to roll out platform updates or big improvements, maybe they'd roll them out annually or once every few months. We're literally getting customer feedback, finding out what people like and don't like, and the services that they need within our platform. And we're building those things in days and sometimes deploying multiple updates to the platform a week. And so it's just moving at a much faster pace. And if you're not able to move at that pace, I feel like you're going to lose. So it's a whole different world. It's one I didn't think through well enough and really understand. It's very exciting. And, but yeah, I mean, things are moving quick, and I don't think they're going to slow down. I think they're just going to keep speeding up.
Yeah, one of the things I'm hearing from other small business owners, founders, some that are tech savvy, some that aren't, is kind of almost like burnout of trying to keep up with what's going on in AI and feeling like if you're not spending 5 hours a night coding in Claude, like you're way far behind just because of how much things are being updated. Like when you're talking to these small business owners, do they feel that same type of FOMO where it's like, if I don't do something, I'm going to be kind of left in the dust sooner rather than later?
In the last 3 months, we've probably had 1,000 sales conversations with small businesses. And the general consensus I've seen, and look, we've also talked to some larger businesses and enterprise too. And the general consensus that I've seen is the large businesses in the enterprise, medium to large businesses and enterprise, they understand the wave that's coming. They understand that it's critical that their business, it gets into the AI answers now, and they are deploying resources for it. The small businesses are not reacting as quickly. That they're saying, hey, yeah, I'm using ChatGPT more every day. I'm on Claude. I ask it questions. They're very basic new adopters.
Yep.
But they haven't rolled it out really to the business yet. And then from the work that we do, where we're helping them get found in AI, they haven't seen the impact to their business of not being in the AI search yet. So they're still a little bit hesitant to move, and it's because they haven't experienced the pain yet. And so what I mean by pain is, I think in the next 6 months, a lot of those business owners are going to say, where's all my customers, right? Yeah. All those customers I used to get from my Google business listing and my organic search, and those things are just not going to be there the way that they used to be. And the ones that have positioned themselves well for the AI engines, they're going to start getting that traffic come in. And the ones that haven't, they're going to be sitting there going, I got to do something now. And they're going to be behind the 8 ball, and they're going to have to move really quickly to do the work to their business and to their website and their online presence to start emerging and being found.
Yeah.
And so the SMBs are just not moving quick enough. And the one in, I'd say about 10%, so are. So that 1 in 10 that are, those are the ones that are going to win their markets.
Yeah.
It's a great time to be competing against private equity because private equity, from what I've seen, is not moving quick enough on this either. So the small businesses, even if you're not a big boy, this is a really democratizing time right now for businesses because you can compete and you can compete on a pretty small investment.
Yeah. And so other than kind of joining and signing up for you and your company services, are there things that small business owners can do now to, if let's assume they're already doing SEO, they've already like kind of done some of the old school kind of work. Is it as simple as just running your current SEO campaigns through an AI and saying, make this GEO focused versus SEO focused so the AI bots can read it better? Or like, what are some maybe simple takeaways that people can kind of start to do if they want to baby step into this a little bit before launching into working with a company like FancyAI?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little anecdote. We had the benefit of launching this SEO product that I told you about earlier. Our automated SEO product was our first platform. And we had customers that are on that. We still do. What we did is all of those customers, we've now provided GEO strategy and services as well on top. But when we first launched, we took a subset of really friendly customers and we said, look, we want to do an experiment. We're going to take you off of the SEO platform and we're going to do nothing but the GEO services. And then I actually went and gave them a ton of free work and free services, and we kind of did it for them to make sure that it would get done quickly. Mm-hmm. And what we saw is the customers that switched from an SEO strategy to a GEO strategy actually saw a bigger bump in Google search and organic search than the ones that did SEO. And then not only that, the work that they did also started to help them emerge into the GEO, into the AI platforms. And so, we have some customers, like I said, that are still want to do some of the SEO work. And, we want to offer them the platform to do that. But we've coached everybody and are moving their strategies into the AI landscape. And we're actually moving all the tools from the SEO platform and moving them into the GEO platform. So this is kind of what we learned is that there is, frankly, from what we can tell, there's not a real reason to keep doing exclusively old SEO type services because they actually don't work as well as the GEO services, even for optimizing to organic search to Google.
Got it.
And it's a really fascinating reason why. I mean, the reason we think it is because Google's semantic engine used to just be about matching keyword to keyword, right? Somebody types in this, you want to show this. And then you want to have content that supports that. And then you want to have third-party sites that are linking into you also support that. So you have this chain of relevance for a specific keyword. And then you'd stuff keywords into content. You had a lot of for years, there was a lot of really poorly written content all over people's websites. But now Gemini, which is, Google owned and behind the scenes at Google, that's helping to run their search product. Gemini doesn't need to see a verbatim search term matched to know that that's what your site is about and that's what you do.
Okay.
So it appears that if you optimize to Gemini and optimize to natural language and to the things that people, what's interesting is what the AI wants to see is generally what people want to see too. If you optimize to that, you actually get a better outcome. So what I would say is to answer your question is number one, I would kind of move away from the SEO stuff that we've done forever and move to GEO. And then I'd also say that look, you can sit and ask Claude, how do you optimize my website for GEO? And it's going to give you some great ideas and it's going to be right. And you can go ahead and use that and you can get a lot further along just with those optimizations than if you don't do them.
Yeah.
And in non-competitive spaces or in, markets that aren't super competitive, that might be enough to emerge and win your top positions. But if you're in a competitive market where you really want to win, leveraging a product like ours that has our own data set and our own AI that we've built to kind of optimize and supercharge this. If you're really serious about dominating your market, using a company like ours is probably the way to go.
Yeah. No, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think there's so many new things that are popping up, with anything that's kind of all the AI updates and everything like that. It's hard to keep track, but I think leveraging experts like you in this area, I think would be actually helpful for some of these businesses that don't know where to start. And those are some practical ways to kind of get started. You just kind of mentioned earlier that you kind of just launched your MVP earlier this year. I guess, what would a successful back half of 2026 look like for you as you're kind of really diving more deeply into this GEO world?
Yeah, I mean, we've built our platform now. It's highly scalable. Whereas when we launched, we could probably only handle 100 customers. We can now handle in the thousands. We're very quickly adding in services and bundling services that are adjacent to GEO as a way to kind of offer a differentiated product here. We're going to be offering social monitoring, the ability to make more social placements and build the types of citations people want to see. We're building an agentic layer where right now, we give you recommendations. We provide the automations to do a lot of the content creation and do the basic work for you. But there's still quite a few things that require human interaction there. And we're continuing to kind of chip those away and build agents around those. And any of those things currently, the business can either do themselves, or we at the moment have a managed service layer where we can facilitate those things. But, a year from now or a year and a half from now, I want this to completely be agentic, where you just come here, you connect your platform to your website, and then all your social sources, and we do all the work for you.
Love it. Well, lots to do the back half of this year. It's been awesome to kind of learn about you and your journey with FancyAI and everything. I guess let's wind this podcast down the way we do all of them with a 3-pack of questions that I ask every guest. So first question here is, what's a book that you've found kind of helpful or influential that you would recommend?
My advisor the other day challenged me to read the Lean Startup again, which is, it's probably 20 years old at this point, or almost maybe 15 years old at this point. And it had been a long time since I picked it up. And I read it, and I was just blown away that all of the problems I've had starting my business over the last 2 years, it perfectly hit on each one. And why I would run into that problem and how to solve it. And so even though I read this years ago, I clearly didn't remember it. And now reading it again, I was like, wow, if I'd have read this a year ago and it had been fresh in my mind, this would have saved me tremendous pain.
Yeah.
So I can't recommend that book enough. Also, if I could just say one more.
Yeah.
Like him or hate him, he's all over the news at this point. But Peter Thiel's 0 to 1 is a great book to read for startup founders.
Yeah,
so I'd recommend that as well.
I think Lean Startup is kind of one of those books that you can read it annually or every other year, and it'll hit differently depending on the season of your life and the season of your business and all that fun stuff. There's a lot of books out there like that are just oldie but goodie, and they just kind of apply to a lot of different scenarios. So totally.
Well, Justin, I wish that I'd have been smart enough to read it year over year, because it would have saved me a lot of pain and a lot of money.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would probably say that about a lot of different books, that they would wish they would kind of keep rereading, because it changes their lives. So awesome. Second question here. What is your favorite thing to do outside of work?
Well, in the wintertime, I love to ski whenever possible. I haven't been able to do it as much over the last few years with how busy I've been, but this winter I'm going to make an effort to go more and to take my daughter skiing and stuff. And in the summer, I just, whenever possible, love to go to the beach and get out on the water.
Got it. Well, you got to get a little bit farther outside of Austin if you want to get skiing or a beach, frankly.
Yeah, it's not not known for our skiing here.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Final question here. Favorite vacation spot?
I've really come to love the Bahamas. It's great. There's so many fun, cool places to go there. Caribbean, it just in general is great. And I went to St. Thomas also for the first time last year, and that was another one where I want to go again. So
yeah,
I don't know if you can tell, there's an island theme there. So
yeah, no, not a bad place to be. Yeah, for sure. Well, very cool. Well, Tom, it's been awesome to connect with you. If people want to learn more about you, FancyAI, want to meet up in Austin, what's the best way to connect with you?
Go to the website, getfancy.ai. Also, if anybody has any inquiries, I'm more than happy to chat with other founders or business owners. You can reach me at my email address, which is tom@getfancy.ai, or feel free to send me a text at 929-264-6000.
Awesome. Well, we will throw all that stuff in the show notes so people can easily access the website and email and phone and all that fun stuff. So, Tom, man, it's been great to have you on the podcast. I appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah, thanks again, Justin. Really, really appreciate it.
I hope you found at least one actionable insight from this episode of the Growth Capital Podcast, your one-stop shop for insights from private equity leaders, CEOs, and startup entrepreneurs on starting, investing in, and scaling successful businesses, as well as the role having the right talent plays in growing a successful business. It would be greatly appreciated if you would rate and review this podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and drop us a comment so we can expand the audience of this podcast. Thank you for all your support, and don't forget about upcoming episodes dropping every Tuesday.